Hey everyone, welcome back to another iiRcade Gamedaze Live. I'm your host, Michael, here, producer at iiRcade. It's good to be back. It's been a little while, right? I haven't seen you guys in 2 weeks now. I've seen some of you in person, which was kind of cool. But yeah, so here we are. No Tuesday shows for a little while, except for potentially this Tuesday. Stick around at the end. I'll talk to you guys a little bit about that. Got a little spoiler for you there. But yeah, so how's everybody doing? Happy Friday. I can see. Thanks for joining. I see the chat going already. This is great. I see you wearing my Halloween costume. Yeah, of course. I'm always wearing my Halloween costume. It's called me. It's my face. But let's get into the games, right? So it's Gamedaze. So Elevator Action, of course, released to you guys today. Rastan behind me released last week. I was at the top of the leaderboards last night. I hope somebody dethroned me last night in Rastan, but we'll find out. I put a pretty high one up there for you guys because I was competing in leagues a little bit until I realized for iiRcade leagues, it's actually the Rastan is the random pick of the week, so I didn't really need to place that high, but it's okay. It's okay. So yeah, so take off my score. Let's go. Play some Elevator Action. So I've been gone. Last week, clearly, I was out. We were down in Orlando. We were invited by part of our marking friends to bring some of the Retromania cabinets down to the Mr. Olympia, which is one of the biggest bodybuilding, arm wrestling, powerlifting competitions in the entire world, which is really cool. So I was getting dwarfed even with all my muscle compared to these giant mountains of people that were there. They're huge muscles. The arm wrestling was fantastic to watch. We got to see, let's see, I've got a picture for sure for everybody that I popped on here. So this is actually the winner of the arm wrestling tournament, right? His name's Dave Chaffee. Big guy. You can see how big he is compared to the machine, lifting it up like it's nothing. So yeah, so he was our lucky winner. Not even lucky, right? He competed. He earned it. He earned his machine, right? He didn't just pay for it, which is kind of cool. So yeah, Dave Chaffee won. He got his free iiRcade machine. I had the honor of meeting the mighty Gene, of course. Gene, I think you're in the chat somewhere. So Gene came down, challenged me, won his $100 because he beat my butt in Bomb Squad real badly. He picked the game. I wish I could have picked the game. I would have picked something different than Bomb Squad. But yeah, Gene, it was great to meet you in person. I hope you're watching, buddy. And Gene, of course, in case you guys didn't know, Gene owns like every single game on the store except for one he didn't have yet. But he's probably got that by now too, I assume, with the money that he got from me. But yeah, so let's kick things off. We'll go into Elevator Action a little bit. For those of you who haven't seen it yet, I've got it on here. So Elevator Action, let me put it up on screen. There we go. I'll swap places with the mighty Elevator Action. So again, this is one of our Taito titles that we announced was releasing, right? So let me I'll full screen this for you all. So this is the classic version, right? So we did license Elevator Action Returns as well. So in this game, you're going to go up and down the elevators, you shoot back. If you haven't yet, oh no, of course I died already. This game reminds me an awful lot of Bonanza Bros, which we also have another Sega title. Wow, I can't even dodge today. This is bad. I got to get my bearings back. I played a little bit too much Rastan last night. So you're going to progress through the levels, going down the entire way through the building, trying to get to the ground floor to escape it. There we go. Lights turning now. It's getting spooky. In case you didn't know, this is a Halloween-themed game. It's spooky, guys. There you go. Yes, you don't just have to take elevators. You can take escalators in this game, too. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty nuts. But this, of course, is a classic. I love this game. Simple, easy gameplay, which is great. What a high ceiling as far as skill goes. Even though I'm kind of cheating right there with my escalators. Oh, no. I would love to play Escalator Action. I think I see that in chat right now. That's right. Perfect. But yeah, I won't bother you guys too much with my gameplay, my terrible gameplay. I'll come back on. There we go. But yeah, so Elevator Action available now on the store. Of course, it's a classic game. It's a classic title. Just like Space Invaders and Rastan and all the other ones that we've got now too, which is great. Space Invaders, of course, is not released yet either. We're getting there. Don't you worry. And of course, the awaited Rastan 3, Warrior Blade, Rastan Saga, Episode 3. It's really the full title. I know everybody's waiting on that game too because that's kind of unreleased outside of Japan. So a lot of people have never actually played that game, and it's phenomenal. So I'm very excited to when we can release that to you guys. It's coming soon. Don't worry. Again, we're rolling these titles out as quick as possible. It takes a little bit of time. So, but I know you always want more games, right? You always want more games, right? So let's see if I can do some digging today, and maybe I can give you guys another game. Let's find out, though. Got a little clip for you here. Welcome back. In case you didn't catch that part at the end, it does say now available. So if you go to the store, it might just be available for you. It's available in the store. I just released it during that video, actually. So Bloodstorm is now officially out. It's the sequel to Time Killers, of course. So if you like Time Killers, be sure to pick up Bloodstorm. It is the direct sequel, technically speaking. If there's sort of a storyline, in fairness, loosely. But yes, so that's another game brought to you by Bash Game Studios. The lovely Billy over there and team have brought us both of those, both Bloodstorm as well as Time Killers. So in case you're looking for another fighter, go ahead and pick that up today. It's on the store right now. It's already there. Dropped it for you guys a little early. Perfect time for Halloween. That's right, Bobby. Bobby went for my mods too. I'm waiting to see some mods. So with that, let's go into Q&A. What do you guys got for me today? What kind of questions? It's been 2 weeks. It's been a little while. I know I've been a ghost. Jong's been a bit of a ghost too. We're doing hard work over here, so we got places to be, things to do. What kind of questions do we have here? It's missing a thumbnail. Okay, I can check that out. Don't mind that there's no pictures. Then in that case, I can fix that in a little bit when I'm done here. Let me see here. I see a game question, of course. Video Game Vegas. Welcome. Have you guys got to check Ultratron and Titan Attacks from Puppy Games as of yet? They're spiritual accessory to Robotron and Space Invaders, respectively. I'm pretty sure I actually do know what game you're talking about. There's a lot of games in my head, right? So I think I've seen this game before too. But yeah, I mean, those are games that we'd love to have, especially like games that are like spiritual successors, right? So that's perfect because we have the power and the hardware to run them, right? So, classics are great, but I'm a big fan of like classics done in a new light, right? So that's my big thing. But yeah, I'll take a look at that. Sure, why not? Thanks, Video Game Vegas. Scanline's coming. Ooh, here. Can you also work on difficulty levels like the original arcade game? So you're talking about dip switch settings and stuff too. It's a little bit more complex. We are working on different things for sure. Potentially dip switch settings. Dip switch settings is one of them. And yeah, so yeah, we'll work on that. We're looking into all these things all the time. Don't you worry. I know it'll be great to be able to customize these games as much as possible. I will say, though, we probably won't do save states ever. Maybe. I shouldn't say ever, but it's unlikely just because that's not really our style. We like I want you to play an arcade game in an arcade fashion. I've given you a pause button. That's good enough, right? That's something new. In touch with Turbo Kid devs. Yeah, it's... Maybe. Stay tuned on that one, Shoe Shine. When is the firmware dropping? Todd, this is a great question. So actually, initially today. It's not happening today. Don't get your hopes up too high. It's not going to. We tried real hard. Most of the stuff is pretty much done. There's just a couple bugs to fix. There's always bugs in the software that you got to iron out a little bit too. But going into that, it is going to release extremely soon. I can't necessarily tell you when, but definitely keep an eye out next week for a ton of different things. System updates potentially, game updates potentially. We'll see. All I can say is next week's going to be a nice week for everybody, I think. It's going to be a great week for all of us. But going into that, in case you all didn't know, let's see here. Let me put this down for 1 second. So I think Zhang showed this off a little bit last time too. Let me pull up my screen, my actual iiRcade screen. 1 second. Sans layout. So there we go. Cool. So it might be a little hard to see on my screen too, but so say I go to Roston, right? So Roston's a classic arcade game. So you can see that C button right there at the bottom right of my screen. That says settings. So you'll have game settings specific to each game. So this is going to save all your options for every single individual game, so you won't have to change them each time. Or, if you don't want a blanket setting, basically. That's why we chose to do it this way instead of just doing like scan lines on, scan lines off in the settings for every game, right? So this way you can just pick and choose what games you're playing and what games you want scan lines on, what games you don't want scan lines on, what games you want pixel perfect on, what games you want smoothing on, all that jazz, right? So if I go into my settings, this is what they look like right now. You can see those names changed a little bit from last week that you probably saw. So pixel perfect and smoothing. I can go left and right with my joystick to choose between this. Pixel perfect is the way to go, in my opinion, but it's up to you. Smoothing is really just the arcade traditional sense. It's just they didn't scale up well on a bigger resolution screen, right? CRT TV and stuff like that too. They were a much lower resolution. They're much lower DPI than our current screens today, right? So Pixel Perfect just goes in and says, hey, we're going to up-res that image, basically is what it does, and makes it look better, right? Scan lines, of course, you got different options. Horizontal 2 and vertical 2 are my personal favorites. So I did actually create all of these by hand for you, which is, that's what I do, right? So all these options are my fault, essentially. So if you have any issues with them, we can change them. This is something that's pretty easy for us to change. So, and of course, I wanted to experiment with this CRT TV, horizontal and vertical. So this works well with games that are full screen. However, games that are in a little bit of a different aspect ratio kind of ruins the effect a little bit. But that's just for now. This is a baseline model too. These can always get better over time, of course. This is our first thing. But a cool new feature you guys probably didn't see last time is you can see my scanline darkness setting that I'm using X and Y to increase and decrease. So a lot of times scan lines seem to make it a little too dark, right? And people just don't like that, right? Because like pure black bars are a little rough to see. It just darkens the game too much, right? So that's what this does. So you have steps of 10% for the alpha level, essentially, for all your scanline options. So, and this works with any scanline option that's on there too. You probably don't want to use that with the CRT TV. That should be at 100% all the time, or else you won't get the effect. But a normal scanline's like horizontal 2, right? So if I want this at full, or if I want it half, I'll go, or not even half. Let's go. That's like a quarter down, right? So there we go. That's scanline. So now I can launch my game, so we can see Rastan with it. And these, again, are going to save individually for each individual title, right? So you can see right there, you can see those lovely scan lines, and I've adjusted them. And if I want to go darker or lighter, you can now do that. So this is coming to you extremely soon. There's my scan lines. There we go. Now you can really see it in full action. Got some lizard men. So the cool thing, too, to keep in mind is that scanline specifically, pixel perfect smoothing, the filters, that only applies to retro arcade games, right? Retro ROM games. However, scanlines can be put over any game. So if I want to play Mayhem Brawlers with scanlines, I can do that because I'm a lunatic and that's what I want. So I'll even play it. Actually, let me get Beach Buggy because Beach Buggy is, the best. So let's go to Beach Buggy. Let's put some scanlines on. Let's CRT TV this one. Let's go horizontal. There we go, horizontal, and I'll keep it all the way up. So yeah, so scan lines for modern games too, just in case that's the look that you want to play on, because this is still at heart an arcade device, right? So I figured, why not give this to you? So, and this is something I sort of came up with and playing around. This is like my Gen 1 image for you. But yeah, so definitely appreciate the feedback on it. If you got more whenever you get to start experiencing this stuff yourself, I would love to hear it, because I literally personally made all these different scanline features. So I would love to adjust them if I need to, or make them better for you, or add new options if that's cool, if that's what you guys want. So if people aren't asking, if they're perfect as is, awesome, I did my job, I guess. But I'd love to hear feedback on them when they come out. And again, stay tuned, very soon this is going to happen. But yeah, so this is Beach Buggy Racing with CRT TV options. So it looks like, a TV. That was the goal of it, right? So, all right. Go back to just myself again. Cool. So yeah, so those options are coming soon, along with some other things in the system update that I'm not going to tell you yet. But I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with this next system update and the other features that are going to be included in it. All right. Thank you, Doug. Let's go back to more questions, by the way. We'll go more Q&A. If I missed your questions while I was talking a lot there, I'm sorry. Put them back in there for me. I'll read them now. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate it. Of course. Brady, go. Elevator action's on the store right now, bud. If you go to iiRcade.store, elevator action is available for purchase right now, as well as Bloodstorm as of like 5 minutes ago. Yes, soon is the answer, Tony. This is my catchphrase is soon, right? Soon, TM. Awesome. Yeah, Kong, thank you. Yeah, options are always good, right? Let's see. Hubert. Hi, Video Game Vegas. You chatting today. I see it. I like it. So in case you didn't know, actually, one of the developers on Hubert actually owns an iiRcade. So they're one of our kind of super fans, and we like them a lot. So we'll see. I mean, we're not putting it out of the questions. And of course, Qbert has a newer version, right, that we can probably technically run. I haven't personally tried, but we'll see. Stay tuned. Qbert is a game that I would personally love, because that's one of my favorite arcade games. I like isometric view games. I don't know why. I'm just a weirdo for isometric views. All right. Sega Naomi games too. Doug, welcome back again. Sorry. Yeah, technically speaking, we do own licenses to a couple Sega Naomi titles. Or I shouldn't say Sega Naomi. I believe Psycho is the one who actually owns those titles for Naomi that I'm thinking of. But yeah, it's a little bit harder on the machine for different reasons, right? It's not a hardware limitation as much as it is a weird kind of game limitation that we have to work on in code. But yeah, so we do have a couple of those titles already. They're not out of the question. No game is ever out of the question for sure on iiRcade. Anything's possible. All right, Derek, question. Any update on the Knights and Guns slowdown fix? So Knights and Guns is actually working pretty solidly on my machines in office right now. If you're seeing like a really, really drastic, severe slowdown, let me know. Send an email and a video with it to contact@iiRcade, and I'll know. I'm talking like if you're like really chugging along, it's bad. Let me know. It does have some performance issues from time to time where there's a ton of portal spawning and a ton of enemies. Totally get that. And I am talking to the developer right now about that too, Baltoro Games. We are talking to them about working on that. So yes, it's in the works. We're trying to get some sort of fix in there to improve performance even more. But yeah, it should be fully playable by a long shot. Like if I saw anything that wasn't definitely fully playable and running pretty well, I would not have released it to you guys, right? So do tell me, do let me know if you got videos and stuff of like really, really poor garbage performance. Let me know, because that's bad. And there might be a problem with the software on the machine, potentially, and we can fix that. So I don't see me on the eggs leaderboard because I had to test eggs originally, and I had to test it to ad nauseum. So I played too much eggs for one lifetime. However, Jeff, I saw that you were on the Raston leaderboard last night, and I'm pretty sure that I overtook your score by a long shot. About 4 times. Just saying. Gauntlet thrown down. But I'll get on the eggs leaderboard. Eggs is up and coming right now, right? Let me see. I love it. I love it, Mark. I love it. It's a huge slowdown on 2-player. Awesome. Yeah, again, let me know. We've done it on 2-player testing and things like that too. So let me know if you got a video of it, especially send it to contact@iiRcade. If you got the time, I would super appreciate it. I know it sucks to like post an email and stuff like that too. I get it. But it would really totally help me because I can send that over to Baltoro Games as well too if you're like really seeing issues, and they can look deeper into it. But again, working on it. Let's see. Okay. All right, Doug. Virtua Tennis? I don't really know. Again, I can't really announce games that aren't announced yet, right? So, Malcolm, what's going on, Prince? Asking for Cuphead and Bloodstained. Bloodstained would be an interesting one. That's actually one that nobody really brings up, so I'm glad you did. We'll see. We'll see. What is eggs? What's eggs about, and should I buy it? Okay, let me give you the lowdown on what eggs actually is then. I don't have it on this machine behind me, unfortunately, right now. I wish I did. Eggs and Dami, if you ever played Dami, is another one that we have too. They're very old school titles. Eggs was big over in Japan. It's a very classic game. It's called Scrambled Eggs there, actually, instead of just eggs in the American version. However, they're the same game by principle. You knock down dominoes, you knock over, sorry, that's Dami. You hatch eggs, is what you're trying to do, right? So you bump eggs into each other, and eventually they hatch open into little chicks, and then you boot the chicks off the board to save their lives, essentially, too, before the evil monsters and spiders get to them or get to you. So that's how that works. The chickens can die and things like that, too, so make sure that you save them in time. But yes, weirdly enough, a surprisingly dumb and fun game. It's one of those classic games that just, man, it's such a strange concept for a game, but I love it so much because of that. I believe it's $3 on the store right now too. I'll make you buy lots of sales. I guarantee. All right, Colin. All right, I'm down. Evolution Soccer. Great question. It's on the list still, of course. Technically speaking, it runs just fine. The problem is there's a little bit of hitching in audio, which we're trying to fix before it goes out, essentially, too, right? So they were trying to get the game perfect before it actually releases to you. I know you want. That's a crazy good soccer game. I totally understand why you want it so badly. But yeah, in the meantime, that actually kind of brings me to games you might have missed, because one of my games you might have missed today is actually Goal, I believe. Sorry, this is very hard to scroll at the moment. So yeah, I don't have any fancy logos, unfortunately, today, too. Let me bring back up my banner here. Usually, I have great overlays and everything for every single game. However, I've been a little busy, as you can tell, bringing you these awesome features. Here we go. But yes, so this is Goal. Let me add the string real quick here. Let me just do this. Let me actually remove Beach Buggy. There we go. I can do things sometimes. I'm not a streamer. I'm so sorry. All right, so this is Goal for the first games you might have missed. So if you're looking, Beach Buggy's playing music. I'm so sorry about that. That's my fault. I will play Beach Buggy. I can actually mute this machine. There you go. Sorry. But yeah, so Goal, one of our fantastic soccer games in the sports section. You can always search nowadays on the store too, just for Goal. I believe it has exclamation points too. But Goal is a fantastic classic arcade soccer game. So if that's something you're looking to pick up, soccer is still in season, or football for my friends in the UK who might be watching right now too. It is there for you 100% on the store. Next game you might have missed. It's actually been out since February, I think, too, along with this title right here. So this is Shadow Force. So if you're looking for another big action beat 'em up kind of game, this is Shadow Force. Shadow Force is really, really cool. You can sort of possess people and stuff. They have tons of different moves and things like that. But yeah, so Shadow Force is just a fantastic game. Let me jump along in the gameplay here. Actually, here we go. It might be lagging a little bit while I'm playing this. There's a lot of machines filming stuff going on here today. So behind the scenes, there's a lot of things going on, eating up the internet. Yes, that's right. Game search is possible now. It's perfect. I know. All right. The last game that I wanted to talk about today, too. By the way, this is Technos Japan. Fantastic. We have a ton of Technos Japan games as well, too. And I love every single one of them. If you're looking for like classic style arcade games, especially Technos Japan did it right. Our wrestling games and things, that's all Technos Japan, too. Last but not least, one of my favorites, Reventure. So Reventure is a classic-themed RPG where you're actually collecting 100 different deaths. So you're trying to actually figure out how to die. It's the inverse of a normal game. You're not trying to live, you're trying to actually die. Or other things, actually. It's not all death all the time, too. But as you can see, it's this cute little pixel art style. And I mean, there's a ton of things. Some of the endings are just like, you can slay the king right now, and then it's like you usurp the throne, and it'll have an ending. Some of them are like, you've gotten eaten by cats, or like you saved the princess, but then the dragon slayed you, or she killed you, she poisons you. That's a thing too. There's a Santa Claus ending, which I believe might be coming up here right now when you go down the chimney. So yes, you're collecting different death endings, different sequences. Here's an ending right now. So Tim jumped into the chimney, ready to share the spirit of Christmas and gift copies of Reventure. Of course, everyone loved the game and left an 11 out of 10 review. So that's one of the endings, and you collect 100 different endings. It's a pretty massive world too. This is not like some of them are super easy, some of them are super hard to get. But yeah, so check out Reventure. It's been on the store for a while now too. All right, going back to the topic at hand. See, I know Travis loves it too. Honestly, it's one of those games that you pick up and it shouldn't be as good as it is, but it's so good. Like, you just can't stop playing it kind of thing, because you need to know, like, you want to know all the rest of the endings, right? So that's always a fun way to do it. All right. Zhang endorsed. Yes, that's right. It is tricky. Yeah, I love Shadow Force. So yeah, so that's the games you might have missed. And including that too, featured week, it is actually puzzle week. So in case you look up at the featured section, there's a ton of puzzle games up there, along with all the games you might have missed that were just mentioned right now. So those are all right up top, right on the top of the store for you in case you missed any of that. Go ahead and try them out. Remember, you've always got a 30-second window to try out games too from the download period. So download them, try them out. If you don't like it within the 30-minute window, put them back. It's all totally a la carte. All right. Close to having hockey. Gordon, I know, buddy. I want hockey so badly too. Don't you worry. We're trying. We're working on it. Licensing is rough sometimes. So we'll see. Don't you worry about it, though. I hear you. I want hockey games just as much as you do. I promise you that. Hockey games and other sports games, honestly. But yes, I'm trying. Let's see here. The Japanese version of Shadow Force. Probably not, because this is the version that was licensed from Technos Japan. There we go. Even though it's Technos Japan, right? You'd think we get the Japanese version. However, they opted to give the American version. That's just how licensing works sometimes. Game companies do what they want to with their own IP, right? So they control that, and we have to abide by that. But I mean, they're both good versions of the game, for sure. This is not a not fun version of the game. And you're really not missing out too much. Let's see, favorite, 8-Bit Brian. If you have an option to show favorite games on individual machines, is that possible in UI update? Yeah, so I mean, the UI is definitely going to get an update at some point. Stay tuned on that. I'm not entirely sure when that's going to happen, but yes, we are looking to, of course, overhaul this entire UI. This is the base level. This is our Gen 1, right? It's been like this since Christmas, since we were released. It's still the first year, though, so there's a lot of things we got to get off the docket, right? So we're getting there, for sure. I would love to have features like that too, a favorites feature, as well as, wish list feature coming to the store, stuff like that. Let me see. Going down the list. I mean, Ruben, there is Best Bout Boxing, which is a pretty solid boxing game as well too. But yes, I do agree Ring King is a fantastic game that I would love to have. Let's see. What other questions we got in the chat? Oh, wow. Okay, here's a lot that I missed. Shampoo Swan. Every time I see that name, it just makes me so happy. I'm not going to lie. I don't know where you came up with that, but I love it. If it's a randomly generated name, I love it even more. So what other games did the creators of Shadow Force make that's on the iiRcade? Okay, there's a lot. There's a lot of titles that are going to go through my head here. I honestly have to look for you. I can get you a list, though. I can get you a list. With over 300 games in my head right now, there's a lot to keep track of, especially with companies and stuff like that too. It's sort of a giant search engine up here too. Let me see. I don't know Dragon's Crown by Atlas. So I'm not entirely sure on this game. It was on the PSP. Would it run on here? If it was on the PSP and PS3 consoles, then our hardware can 100% handle it. There's no doubt in my mind. Will it ever come to light? Maybe. I don't know. I've never heard of that game before, so we'll see. I can look into it. Startup sound coming soon. Interesting question that I get asked all the time, right? So startup sound is a little trickier at the kernel level, right? So let me break this down for you. So the boot up image that you see isn't a video or anything like that too. That's actually a boot up image within the kernel, which is a deep level processing system, right? This is deep level in the board stuff. It's actually a bunch of images playing over and over again, right? So to do that with sound is a little bit trickier because you're talking about cutting up sound into tiny, tiny little bytes and then piecing it together while the machine's booting up and trying to do all its other processes. It's a little rougher. We're getting there. So stay tuned on that. I know you all want to boot up sound, and so do I. Don't you worry. We're working on ways to do that. For sure. Will it come anytime soon? I can't promise that. It will be there eventually, though. Yes. All right. Yeast games. Oh, wow. I never get asked about more yeast games. JWY, what? You're not asking for dolphins for once. I'm very surprised. Maybe. We do have a great relationship with all those companies. Of course, all of our licensors. So, yeah. Yeast. I would love to have more yeast games as well, too. Yeast is such a cool game. In case anybody hasn't tried it too, the general game mechanics in Yeast are actually you have to run into things. So you're just like butting against things in order to attack them, essentially. So you have to attack from different angles and stuff. So it's a little bit different than a typical RPG where you're just pressing A to swing a sword, say, right? Plus the storyline, the dialogue is great. The artwork's amazing, of course. The soundtrack's fantastic. So yeah, we do have Yeast Chronicles 1 and 2 split up on our system right now too, or as I like to call it, Yeast 1, get the books, Yeast 2, put the books back, right? So, but yeah, I'd love more Yeast games as well too. And that is something that, of course, we are always talking with our licensors and things about getting more sequels and stuff. All right. Rainwater, what do you got for me right now? Let's see. All right, Jeff, how many games do you have licensed for which are currently being worked on for iiRcade release, but are not released yet? Do you mean how many games have been announced and not released that we already have licenses for? Is that what you're talking about? Because that list is probably within the 50s, I want to say. Sounds about right. So 30 to 50-ish range, I would say, of games that have been announced. Games that are not yet announced and already licensed, that's a different story. I can't talk about that. But those exist as well, of course. So I would love Ready to Rumble boxing, Gordon, by the way. I see that. All right. Do we have a relationship with Activision? I personally do because I have friends who work at Activision. Do we have people who are higher up than executive producers and stuff at Activision? Maybe. We'll see. Activision's hard. Also, if you ever probably got Activision games on our system, they'd probably cost a little bit more money than you'd want them to, honestly. Maybe. I don't know. But who knows? Activision has a lot of games. They've got a huge back catalog of older games, too, that maybe we can bring on one day. We'll see. Maybe we're talking to them right now. I don't know. But yes, there's tons of great titles, right, from all these different developers. There's hundreds of thousands, if not more, developers, old school as well as modern. We'd love to work with them. It's just about, getting the exposure, getting people coming to us, more so than us coming to them. So yeah, we're always working on new game licenses nonstop, and especially hockey right now, Gordon. I promise you that, because I want hockey too. All right. So let's see. What time? We're about halfway through, right? Ish. Sorry, grab my coffee. Band Presto. I'm not sure what game Band Presto is. So, are there any other questions on things like scanline features that are getting added soon? Scanlines, Pixel Perfect, or other filters, and other things, other system updates before I move on, actually. Of course, I'm here to answer questions. That's what I'm here for today, right? So, TARS 2600 activation. Yeah, okay, cool. All right. Oh, I see one. Yacht Club, Yacht City. Yacht City, is that what you're talking about? Yeah. They're fantastic titles. They own Shovel Knight. Oh, Band Presto is another game publisher. Okay, cool. Awesome. Maybe. We'll see. I've talked to too many developers more recently. I'm losing track sometimes. Ninja Baseball Batman's a little harder for licensing reasons. It's kind of a nightmare, honestly. There's people who own specific characters in those games. So you have to contact each individual one to get permission or pay them to get the game, and there's multiples of those, right? There's like 10 plus of them. That's why it's kind of a licensing nightmare for Ninja Baseball Batman. But yes, would love to have Ninja Baseball Batman. Of course, it's a classic. Everybody loves Ninja Baseball Batman. Plus, it's just got a cool name, of course. Neo Geo games. Ooh, Howard, great question. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Of course, we do have a lot of Neo Geo classics already on the system too. I think Rage of the Dragons is actually is a Neo Geo title, weirdly enough. Aha, cap skins. Stay tuned. There will be more cap skins, yes. Will they release before the holiday season? Maybe not. I would say if you're waiting to buy a cab on a specific skin, I wouldn't honestly wait. What you'd want to do is get a black edition, and you can skin it yourself, right? So black edition's made for that. Get a naked black edition. You don't have to put the Double Dragon decals on. We specifically made it for that reason so that you could personally add your own decals as well too. Or even if you just want to paint it or do stickers and things like that too, totally up to you. You know, the world is your oyster. The iiRcade black edition is your oyster. That's it. But yes, if you're waiting on like specific skins for a specific game, I can't say when they'll release. Of course, we're always going to be updating skins though. Yes. If you wanted the MFL skin though, it's gone. Sorry about it. You missed the cutoff already. That was what, October 10th? October 2nd. That's what it was. Shoeshine, let me see here. Questions. Accessibility options like Universal Turbo being worked on. I wouldn't say being like worked on in the forefront right now, but yes, they're being thought about. I'm not trying to leave you out for sure. 100%. I love accessibility options as much as I can do for everybody. I would love to do it. It just takes time. And that's unfortunately like one of those features that's sort of back-ended for us. It's a little bit harder to do because we have to go in and do a few different things in the software. But like even just the turbo button's a little bit more complex because how does it work in certain games versus others can be kind of game breaking at times. And plus with global leaderboards, it's a little harder, right? But yeah, no, working on it. Again, I wouldn't say it's in the forefront right now, unfortunately, but it is being thought about. Definitely. That's 100%. It's on my list of things that I want added, especially turbo mode. I totally understand. Totally get it. You see here, question, we're on IR glass. So yeah, so this is just a shipping issue, basically. Glass is printed, manufactured. It's just in the ocean probably right now. And hopefully the ship doesn't sink. That would be unfortunate. But yes, iiRcade glass, I can't really give you a rough estimate necessarily on when that's going to be. I would shoot for maybe November. Before Christmas is probably a good guess, before holiday season. But yeah, we know once it sold out way faster than we thought. I mean, we ordered a ton of it. We did not expect it to sell out nearly as fast as it did. But yeah, so which is great. I'm glad you guys are all liking it. And we ordered a ton more this time too, so that we don't run out nearly as fast. But yes, it's still being shipped. We're getting there. So stay tuned on that. Like I said, I would expect November. I would expect maybe mid to late November is probably about the earliest you're going to see it. But I would still expect it before the end of the year. I definitely. Luckily enough, it's cosmetic. It does add a nice touch to the machine for sure. It's well worth it. Soul Calibur would be great, Jeff. Man, I would love Soul Calibur. Able to be used on all the games that are present. Yes. So I talked about this a little bit earlier, Ruben, in case you missed it. Scan lines, specifically scan lines, can be used. I had them on Beach Buggy, right? So scan lines can be used in all retro and modern games. Let me turn down my volume. Like I said, settings, you can see all the settings along with the brightness and darkness of it too. These can be used in any game, including modern, just in case you want to play modern games in a sort of retro style. Totally get it, especially with the pixel style games like Dead Cells and things like that. They work really well with scan lines. Mayhem Brawler with vertical works really well. Played it the other day. So yeah, the only feature, of course, pixel perfect and smoothing. That's only for arcade games, just because it's just a different feature entirely too. I can't change a developer's game on a more modern game. It's a little different. But yeah, scan lines themselves, you can add them to whatever games you want. And again, it's going to be a feature that is saved per game. So if you want it on one game and not on the other, totally good. It doesn't have to be a blanket effect. It's not in the settings and just be like scan lines on or off. That's not it. I've totally customized these. We got the entire team that they got it working great. I love it. Love my iron glass. I think I missed a couple more questions up here, and I'll probably move on here and take 2 more questions. Let me see here. I mean, besides game questions, Knights of the Round. I can't talk on Knights of the Round right now. It's a great game. I can tell you that. Knights of the Round is a fantastic game. No, unfortunately, like we said, MFL is shelved for now, essentially. We're putting all of our development into other areas right now. That's why you're getting all these other features, right? Because we can move those from NFL porting to this. Currently, again, it's on indefinite hold right now. It's not a no. It's not coming. But I also can't say when or technically if. That's true. But yeah, we're moving those resources to other areas currently. Well, actually, it stops a little less green screen. But yeah, we move those resources into other places instead of that game for now. Let me see here. Another World. Yes, Another World is still coming. That's being worked on. That one's a little rougher of a port than we expected, I think. Again, I can't really speak on these games too. I believe the creator of Cliffhanger, though, is actually pretty close to us here in Chicago, up in Skokie. I'm pretty sure they're really close by. So hopefully that'd be cool. It's always like Lupin the Third, in case anybody's ever watched that anime. It's like Lupin the Third in Laserdisc form is how that game is, instead of Dragon's Lair and Space Ace. Let me see. All right, I'll take one more question here. Yeah, that's right. Sometimes you get lucky with shipping, but yeah, we've put it on. It's been on pre-order for a little while. It's just been shipping. Manufacturing and shipping is all it is, really. It's waiting somewhere in the ocean. You see here. All right, 8-Bit Brian. Last question. What big game, other than Shredder's Revenge, of course, are you holding back for Christmas? Don't assume I'm holding back games for Christmas for you, 8-Bit Brian. I know I look like Santa Claus with my giant white beard, but man, I might not be holding anything back. Who knows? But this is actually a good segue into slight other topic, right? So like I said at the beginning of the show, I'll probably cut this here soon. Make sure that you tune in on Tuesday this week. Me and John are going to be doing a special live. So make sure that you're paying attention a little bit. We'll pop it up soon enough. But yeah, so stay tuned on Tuesday. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. And you'll get to see Zhang and I together for the first time in a long time on screen. All right. And with that, that's actually pretty much, we can call it there for the day. So make sure, there we go. So make sure that you check out Elevator Action, and Bloodstorm is now available again. Bloodstorm released during the show. It's on the store right now. Check it out. Bash Gaming Studios did a fantastic job on that one too, and they have their own scanline options and things in the game for you as well. On top of that, you can turn on and off violence, which is great. But yes, check that out. Check out games you might have missed. We had Reventure, Goal, as well as, let me see, Shadow Force. That was the other one too. And of course, it's Puzzle Week. So if you want to get your puzzle on, I put up some featured puzzle games for you right there at the top. And then, yeah, stay tuned for system updates and things like that coming soon. Next week. Stay tuned on Tuesday. We will be back on Tuesday, not the normal time, but we'll see what time it is. But yeah, check it out then. It was great to see everybody. It's good to be back. And with that, I'll actually show one more thing, because IR Leagues, make sure you catch and check out iiRcade Leagues on Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. CST. And then, yes, actually Eastern. I should say Eastern. No, CST, 7:30 CST. All right, with Gunther and Casey, though, but they host it. They're doing a great job. Get your prizes, all that jazz. They give out great prizes. There's games that you can win as well, too, that are specific to just leagues right now that you can get for free from playing and winning in leagues. So make sure you check those out. And with that, I'll play you out with Bloodstorm. Happy Friday, everybody. It's good to be back. I'll see you next week.
Engage.